be, because we're making it available in school.
Mm.
I will talk like I'm talking to many people, firstly, and also like it may be somebody that come to look at it that obviously also don't know me, so I will introduce myself just so that you understand what I'm doing.
Yes.
But other than that, I am really grateful that you are here. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just cold. So I'm like sitting with under a blanket.
Yeah, no, even in winter, the temperatures, it's like the weekend that has passed in Monday. Today is slightly better, but it's still cold. It's still cold.
Yes. Oh no, it's been very cold here.
Yeah. And because Leonie is in Swakopmund, which is the coast of Namibia, and she's saying there it is just as cold. So I think it's a cold front
Yeah,
situation. And then I have colleagues in the UK, and they saying that they are having a heat wave.
I believe so.
Anyway, so Janine, a little bit about me, Leandre. I've got two teenage boys. Currently a single mom. In January, it will be 3 years that I've been divorced. Um, but I've moved on in the sense of not moved on, that maybe I had a different life partner, whatever the case may be. Just move on in terms of the healing. So I'm very grateful for the space that I find myself in. But I did find myself, look, generally speaking, and this now, also goes for other women that may listen to me on this call eventually. Especially for divorced women, your living standard drops with at least, and that's now minimum, 30%. It depends on how circumstances was. Look, if you were the one earning more, in my case, I was earning more, and I've always earned more, which is probably what made it easier for me in terms of, to be able to make that separation. But for many other women, it's actually not the case. So depending on how dependent they are, it could be, that financial situation could really be something. But I did find myself at a point where, look, the schools and everything is going up, and I needed to find something to complement my income with. Um, can you still hear me
Yes,
nicely?
yes.
Okay, because the network might. But yeah, I will check in. Yeah, and so I just came to a point where I needed to do something, and that is where, because I worked with Leonie before a few years ago in a small town, Oraniemund, which is close to Alexanderby, South Africa. And then I got to see her post on Facebook about digital marketing, and that is how I became interested. So just in terms of also why and how I find myself here tonight, also just facilitating the session, it really started off there. That was now in November last year. um, it came from a place of wanting to break free from that dependency, having to ask for extra. Fortunately, I must say, look, there's many women that don't get maintenance. I do, although he made his own calculation of what that should be. It's not according to the court order, but at least he does that.
Mm.
And many that for whom it is also, quite a process. But it's those, for the extra things, the extracurricular activities, or something happens in my home, because now I carry everything that I wasn't also used to carrying. So
Mm.
they were things that, he would be responsible for and the likes. And I don't want to ask because I just don't feel good in asking. So when I came to this opportunity, I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this can be something that I can do, because I have thought of other things, including lecturing, but that would take me away from the boys even more, which my work sometimes, I travel and the likes. And yeah, so that is why I'm here and how I got to be here. So I got into the digital marketing space, and as you will see, as you start this journey, other opportunities start to open. Then, Leonie and I, we came across the school opportunity of opening our own platform or community that there is obviously paid services that you can provide in that space. And so it just grows. But it also came from a place of wanting to help women, finding themselves in my shoes. Just this morning, I actually came across something where the question really was, why you started, if you're in this online space, why you started. And it really was to help that mom not to have to ask the father for extra money. It literally came to that. If I very honest with myself. And quite fortunate again journey because, as you know, I came through Grace Online. So my boys and I actually did the divorce course also with Grace Online. And I think that has been one of the tools that really helped us. Like the boys are focused in school, we are navigating it. It has its ups and its downs, but we are able to do it, and that is really why I'm here. I just realized I can put all of that in a story, which is what I've done with the learning that I've done in this space, is to also do my own guide, to be able to create more. And then once we now started this community, we said, okay, so this community must be about adding value. So Leonie's got something that she does on Mondays, and then I say to her, "Let me take Wednesdays," because sometimes you start off with a Monday, like you're all in there, like this week, this is what I'm gonna do, and lo and behold, Wednesday comes, and you may find a dip, and you just maybe need that pick me up type of thing. And that is where the midweek recharge, came about. When I said to her, "Let me do the midweek because I know how it feels. By Wednesday you're feeling tired. The week is getting long. The routines, the everything. Maybe you get sidetracked from your goals or whatever you set out for yourself, and this is where you need this." Um, yeah, so that is just a little bit of an introduction in terms of what I thought of doing tonight. So, what you will see from pretty much you maybe have even been seeing is we're focusing really, we're going into the next 6 months of the year. And it can still look very different from where you started in January. Um, all is not lost. This is that it doesn't have to be the end if you didn't make what you wanted to make or do what you needed to do. But what I also realized, I came across something yesterday, and again, um, it's why I feel so passionate about this space is so it was actually on one of the other school communities where somebody shared about grace over guilt. So it's actually a blueprint document that the lady wrote. And I really like that because I thought to myself, we can now, as much as what we want, also talk about, yes, you've got the next 6 months, but if you already feel like a failure because you did not honor your New Year's resolutions or the goals that you've set, or maybe like what you will sometimes see in the space, Janine, is maybe people who, but not everybody experience the same results, for example. And no, some people maybe just, and sometimes I'll be very honest with you. Like I know one lady, like she just took way too long to get going as well, like, and that is why I said to you, set a goal for yourself in terms of what you aim to do this week, for example. But you can find yourself in that space that you're so overwhelmed, maybe with guilt, that you now don't even go further. So tonight, my encouragement is really to have grace with yourself. If you missed a workout, if you cheated on the diet, to rather not say Monday, because sometimes we don't know which Monday. We say Monday, but we don't know which Monday. Actually, what something very funny. It was in Afrikaans. The lady said, "Ons begin Maandag. Ons weet net nie watter Maandag nie, maar ons begin." Um, and then even more time get lost, and you feel even worse. So, if you've missed a goal, if you've missed that thing that you needed to do, if you were on a routine and got sidetracked, the best thing that you can do for yourself is just try and get back on it as soon as you can. I've got a parrot. Did you hear the parrot?
I hear it.
Okay, I'm quickly gonna make the parrot quiet. Um, Yeah, the very best thing we can do is really to get back on it and to remember if you also think of the Word of God. And I actually had a dream one day. It was literally and it was within this year. It was really the devil chasing me there, and all I kept saying was, "There's no condemnation in Christ." I actually woke up, from the dream like that. So if we can just remember that when things don't go as planned, if you didn't maybe keep to the commitment, um, just to have grace, like God would have grace with us, and move on. That's the best thing that we can do. Because the thing about guilt is, yes, it gets your attention, but it's pretty much all it does in
Mm.
terms of maybe it being meaningful is to get your attention. It has zero benefits when it comes to motivation. It will actually rob you from that. So tonight, my encouragement is really to um, to recognize that lie when it comes to I have to be perfect, or just because I didn't make this, now nothing else is going to work, and to reframe that thinking. This doesn't have to mean there's no progress. Then you focus on what did work. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. To really just rephrase all the guilt when it comes up, to really replace it with grace, just telling yourself, tomorrow I start again. So if it is an exercise, or if it is a budgeting issue, or whatever the case may be, not sticking to it or whatever, I'm going to do better the next time, or if it's tonight, or whatever the case may be. And just to choose perhaps that one faithful thing that you can do to get back on track. So if I think of myself, sometimes my Bible plans are one of them, where you miss one day and then it gets 2 days, and it's like, okay, should I now really get back on it? Maybe just, okay, let me just go back to one day, or to one verse, or whatever the case may be. Or if it is a health, maybe you can start with drinking a glass of water, or whatever the case may be. So just choose that one smaller thing that can still be part of the bigger goal as soon as what you can. If it is as quick as is now, you can do something, whether it's to go take a walk again, if it's a physical thing, to go do that, because it lifts the mood then immediately, and you easier can go back into the routine of what you were doing and what you were working towards. So that could be another tip of something that could help. And then to remember why it matters. What you also hear, what we talk, for those that would be in DMS, what they talk a lot is your why. Your why must actually make you cry, because when it does that, it fuels you with that wanting to, in that something that comes from inside in terms of the energy to want to make it work, putting in the effort. So as soon as you're not really sure, I want to lose the weight, but it's maybe just to look good, or want to save the money, but the goal of what you're aiming to save it for, or whatever the case may be, is not clear, then that in itself can also make you go, of course. But if you have a good goal, if that why is clear for you and it's close to your heart, then it's easier to come back on track. So when it happens, when you're off and you feel guilty, just remember your why and get back on it as soon as you can. And then to refuse to say you're starting over, because that becomes also daunting if you look at it in that way, and then eventually you lose the interest. I think it's recognizing the progress. I actually have come so far. So if I think of, so one of the things that I had was, or have, I'm going to talk in present tense, I'm not off it yet. It's reading the New Testament in 100 days. And I'm doing it with a friend. And again, something that is also very good that could help you is to have an accountability partner. Um, and if it wasn't for her, I don't know, I would have probably been already off track. But now I know, we're making notes on the thing. But I have now skipped 2 days, for example. I don't have to start over. I have gone already how many days now? 13 or so. Recognize that, appreciate that, and just to continue, for me to just continue, I would have to start with where I left off, at least, so I don't lose out anything, but I don't have to start at day one. So that in itself can also help you to overcome that guilt and to start making progress again. Then another thing that was mentioned in the guide that I got was your grace over guilt declaration. Is to actually make a declaration to say, today I choose, faithfulness over perfection, for example. I release guilt, shame, and all or nothing type of thinking. So that I will definitely share with you in terms of the declaration. And I think just remembering one day at a time, one step at a time, because many a times you know what you want to achieve, but you can't necessarily, maybe if you look at the staircase, see all the steps, the light on all of it. Sometimes God really also just give us enough for the step that you're on, and for you now to take the next one. So one day at a time, one step at a time. But it helps. It really does help if you've got the goal clear. You know why you want to do it, why it's important to you. If you could picture it or put a picture to it or something like that, stuck it up somewhere. I actually have it as a screensaver on my phone, so that every time, it just kind of reminds you, like, this is what you're working towards. So if you see it, then it can remind you, and you stay on track easier. So you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to start over. We are in June, going for the end of June now. But may we look at the next 6 months as an opportunity, um, of still having half of the year to achieving to what we want to achieve. Forgive ourselves for what we need to forgive ourselves for, and just getting on with it. If you could find accountability partner, all the better, because now you actually have to tell someone, how far have you come. But if you don't tell someone you want to lose 5 kilos, then if you go, of course, nobody's going to know. But
So
but,
keep the
but
stuff
you
that nobody's going to know.
that you had this goal and now it didn't happen, and it's just quiet about it. But and inside of you, that feeling is
Mm,
of not achieving it is really not a good one.
mm,
Sometimes what I think, but also reminds me, is to remind me myself of when I achieved something towards this goal. Like, for instance, for me, it was, again, not asking for money, because it was a long month. I had a birthday in this month. I had one child that had to go on a school excursion. My mom broke her leg, and I'm an only child.
mm,
So you can just imagine, like,
mm,
things were flowing, and there was things to do and things to pay. To pay. Um, so normally, sometimes when they now need something, because it's normally, I would not ask for me, but at least, when there's really something they would need for school, is now okay. Kom ek trek nou maar my trots in die sak en ek vra nou maar. But this month, I didn't have to ask Janine, and dit het baie goed gevoel. Dit het verskriklik gevoel. Ja, daar was miskien, I would have maybe wanted us to have this in the house or that in the house, for example, in terms of comfort and nice things or whatever the case may be. But we had what we needed, and even a bit more than what we needed.
mm,
And we could get by. And I didn't have to ask for anything. Whatever they needed for school, I was able to provide. Um, and it was really just such a relief. And it's not because, in my case, that he doesn't want to give it, or that he doesn't. He would actually, it's the initial response that I get that would never make me feel good. Like, way he would, like, say, "Sal nou eers kyk," en sy kop krap and whatever. That's that. And then it's literally, if I said the teacher for the extra tutoring is asking 300, daai man gaan net hy R300 stuur wat ek
mm,
vra. Nie 'n sent meer nie, nie 'n sent minder nie.
mm,
It will be just that. where sometimes you would hope the person would not think, okay, die kind moet seker gery word and whatever the none of that. So I never feel good. It just never feel
Mm,
good. Um, and what I can definitely remind myself of going into this new month and into this next part of the year is how it felt in June. When I didn't have to ask.
mm,
I could do what I needed to do, and we were okay. And that is what I want. I do not need all the luxuries in the world or whatever the case may be. I just need to be able to provide for them in a way where I don't have to ask for anything.
mm,
If he gives, he gives. And yeah, that's really what I want.
mm,
So when you have that feeling of reward, when you do achieve something, when you see something's working, maybe somehow capture the moment, I would want to say that you can remind yourself sometimes when you go, of course, uh, but this is why I'm doing it, for
mm,
example, and I want to have that feeling again, just to get the intrinsic type of emotions and motivation to work in your favor, because the brain is it's an amazing thing. It's sometimes just really what they actually talked about is it wants that evidence,
mm,
um, so just as it would want the evidence for why something would not be working, and it tends to want to go in the negative very easily. It's much harder for it to go into the positive. We have to train it. It's like a muscle that you would literally have to train. So this is my encouragement. This is my recharge. If there are things in other areas of your life, whatever areas it may be, that you feel like, sure, this was what I was setting myself up for in the beginning of the year, and I didn't do it. Forgive yourself. Take a breath. See how far did you come, and go from there. Recognize the progress there's been. And sometimes it was really maybe other priorities, completely different priorities came up, which I think we should also appreciate and take the learning from whatever that was for yourself into this next season or into this next half of the year, that can help you to make what you're going to achieve a success. I would definitely say, figure out the write down that goal. And I would also want to say, make sure that it's in the present tense. As a coach, we would normally, that's again, it's a brain thing in terms of what it wants to focus on. So in 3 months time or in 6 months time, I am doing what, or I am earning, or I have lost. And then you visualize that, or get a picture or something around that, and you stick it up where you can see it. And then from there, you decide every week, you're intentional about how you spend your time and what you do to work towards that goal. What I definitely realized is a goal is so important. A goal is so important. So if I can just quickly share why I say that. So last week, so Leonie and I, something that we're working on as well is, look for Namibians, the payment gateway is a situation. Hey, so why DMS is so attractive to us is because you don't need a payment gateway. But if you want to do other online products and things like that, then you do need it. So I'm busy with a non-res F&B bank account, and it was a goal of mine last week. We already spoke about it the previous week, but because it wasn't a goal, I didn't make progress. I found out who should I contact. I actually at least asked my bank, and they gave me an email, but that was how far it went. It was only when Leon and I decided, okay, this is what we're going to do in this week, and it became my action, that within a week I got that bank account. It was something. It really just shows how important it is if you know what you want and you're intentional about it. That I think I can again testify to. There are things that's not in our control, and that we also need to accept. But we need to then just remind ourselves of what can you control, and focus our time and effort on that. And many a times we waste our time. There were so many things that we do and get involved in that gets us distracted. So maybe also just the last one, if you're busy with something or someone is, a conversation, is this serving me? Am I actually helping? Sometimes you may be helping the person. If not, then, to recognize the distraction for what it is and get back to what we should be doing in terms of using our time. Not to say there shouldn't be any rest, there should also be rest and recreational type of activities,
Mm.
but just to recognize the distractions because they can be many and they can come in good forms. Like some of them can really look good. They can really look good. So that was from my side, Janine. This is pretty much about a half an hour session,
Mm.
and it was really just to encourage people, taking on the next 6 months, um, but making peace with what has happened and what is in the past is behind you now, and to really just look forward and to be intentional. Anything from your side?
No, thank you. Yeah, I needed that as well, just to like sorry, I've been making notes as you like
Yes, ma'am.
making so yeah, just to yeah, how do you want to change the next 6 months? Like we're literally in
Ye-
the half of the year, so we can make that difference. To look back and
Exactly.
be proud of ourselves. But yeah, like you say, also have grace and don't think you look at the wins, even if it's not exactly where you want it to be, at least look at the progress that you've made then and look at that as a win because everything is
Ye-
your benefit. And like as I think Zanel said, um, also if you've made a promise to yourself, it's you must be well, I normally say a man of your word, but be a lady of your word. And if you can keep it to yourself, we always tend to think like, as nobody will know. I'm not keeping it to myself, but in it affects you. So you're a man of your word. Stick to it for yourself too. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Like somebody, my coach at one point actually told me, especially when it comes to self development, for example, Nate,
Mm,
that was the conversation to actually schedule it in your diary and honor it like you would, a meeting with someone. Because I would never want to be late or miss a meeting or whatever the case may be. To have that same commitment to yourself, like you would have when you now need to have a appointment with someone or whatever the case may be. So that is so true.
mm,
Honor it, and then yeah, and that in itself can be so rewarding when you did what you said you were going to do, and
mm,
especially when you can see the fruits eventually coming. I think the other thing that I just thought of is obviously also if we look past in the past 6 months, just to remember that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes God, not even sometimes, He always has a plan, and He can still turn it around for good.
mm,
So again, in terms of what has happened, is just to, like you were saying as well, just take the learning and appreciate how far you've come.
mm.
All
Yes.
right, so Janine, that's all for tonight.
Thank
um,
you. Thank you for the encouragement for the rest of the week and all the learning that I still need to do.
Yes. Let me know how it goes. Like when you make your first post, please, let me know. I'll go check you out on. Is it? Will you be using Facebook? What
Yeah,
social media
probably
platforms are
Facebook.
you
Yeah,
using?
I've looked at the emails and stuff last night, and then I must just want to look at the where they say I can change a picture.
Okay.
In that, yeah, so I just want to change the pic because it's a picture of Lizelle at the moment.
Mm.
So I can change that to myself, hey?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. You can. So
So,
it was. I must actually go back to mine also as well. I want to, even the testimonies of what
mm,
you've got on the page. You've got testimonies of what people think, saying about how well they've been doing or whatever the case may be. That is also now a bit old in my case because it's last
mm,
year's stuff. I can definitely go put in some
update.
recent snippets now, for instance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once you're ready, let me know. When I follow you, just check you out and,
Thank you.
encourage you. Again, you'll see with this community, it's actually a beautiful community. I have one lady on Instagram that always would check, what it is what I'm doing. So she would always like it. And if I post a video or whatever the case may be, to just comment, especially in the beginning, some encouragement when I was new, So that is quite it's quite nice if you
Mm.
feel that support, because then you just get that encouragement to go on. So yeah, but like I said to you, watch the space. Leon and I are definitely planning something. So especially for Faceless, there's definitely some things that we would like to share. Just some like I said to you, some reels and things, the videos and things that you can use, because
Mm.
sometimes it can run out, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and they can tell you now, you must make a video of everything. But if you're not also that kind of person, uh,
Yes.
like I do, but not all the time.
Mm.
So it's
Mm.
nice if you've got like a library to work
Mm.
from. That is quite nice. And then what I will also share with you a little bit later is, when it comes to content for yourself or just a strategy type of thing. Cecilia actually shared something very nice, like a spreadsheet thing that just keeps you focused, so that if you decide on that 1 hour or what after work, that you just keep it in that,
Mm.
because it's also very easy to go over that. We
Mm.
say 2 hours a day, but it depends where you are. Look, like in your case, in the beginning, you will spend a little bit more.
Mm.
uh, Depends, what I do and what you learn is optimize on the weekend, so that is also what I've done. But yeah, she does give nice tips about, just keeping a structure for yourself, that every day, this is it. And when you're done, you're done. And you focus
Mm.
just on that. She even says, when you go to the bathroom, then you run and come back. That you can finish, because the
Yes.
idea is not to rob you of more time. This
Yes.
is actually to build that freedom so that you have more flexibility.
Mm.
But then you have to be smart about your
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Thanks for all
But
your
you
help, guidance, and your encouragement. I really, really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. But please let me know,
I'll
anything that